cloud. All right, so I'm so excited to chat about this tonight, and I will move right into it. That way we'll have a little section of questions, chat through any nuances or what have you that you may have top of mind. But messaging is kind of, the name of the game. And so I just want to give some quick tips, tricks, mindset things that I've learned along the way, and just kind of, if nothing else, give a big giant hug that it's going to be okay. And there's always a option for what to say next. And our community is fantastic at helping each other find solutions and find ways through a conversation, because no two conversations are the same. No two relationships with people are the same. So no two messages can be the same, right? And I joked in our group chat the other day, like, don't copy and paste a message to 392 people the exact same way. Because what happens when we do that is it's a very analytical, it's a very transactional thing that we're doing. It's just ding, 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 right? And people can sense that immediately. The energy flows through the message. And I know that sounds super woo-woo juju, because I have eye rolled at things of that nature and thoughts of that nature for a very long time. But it really is the case that when we can take a moment to personalize the message based on the person we're sending it to, even if it's just to like throw in a nickname, or, oh, I saw this thing that you posted and it was hysterical. I will never forget seeing cat faces, superimposed over all the different animals. That I will literally never get that image out of my mind. So saying something of that nature just brings the human relationship and that connection together. And that, at the end of the day, is what we are here for. And something that is super important to keep in mind when we talk about messaging is that, again, this sounds really weird, but it's a great mental picture. Every person that we interact with, we have a quote unquote relationship bank account, right? Where we have been making deposits or withdrawals into that bank account for the duration of the time that we have known that person. And so it's really important to understand that we can't just overdraw the account, right? I mean, just think about our money. We can't just overdraw the account at a certain point. It's like, enough is enough. So we have to make deposits into that relationship account as well. So that way, when we want to share something with someone, or we want to help something or someone with something, the experience is there. The foundation is there where they trust and like us enough, for lack of a better way of putting it, to engage in that. And I don't say that to be like, you have to be amazing and have all of these fantastic friends, and every single one of your, relationship bank accounts has to be overflowing for you to be able to do this job. In fact, that is not the case. When I first heard about the relationship bank accounts, it kind of froze me, because I didn't believe in my heart that I had been a good enough friend, that I had enough friends that would like me enough. I don't have a college degree. So I was like, there's nobody's going to think I'm smart enough. A lot of this is your own perception of ourselves and the limitations we put on ourselves. So if we can just take that out of the mix and just think about, how can I love this person well? How can I connect with them? And if we can do that, then how we feel about ourselves is ultimately going to change over time, because we're taking ourselves out of that equation. Because at the end of the day, it is not about us. When we're reaching out to these folks, and yes, we have goals and we want to get incentives and the prezzies and the prizes and all of that, but we are ultimately reaching out to share hope and a possible solution for other people. People don't want an opportunity. They want solutions to their problems. An opportunity just sounds like another thing on the to-do list. So just think about, when we're messaging, how can we love people well? How can we just give them a hug with our message, right? I say that because while Plexus may be top of mind for us, it is not top of mind for anybody not in the Plexus world. And even when they are in the Plexus world, sometimes they can be like, oh, I wasn't even thinking about that, right? And here is the name of the marketing and sales game. And this is for every industry under the sun, for any company selling something. So even Charmin toilet paper, when they're trying to, grab in a new person to buy that off the shelf, although at this point, I think anybody is buying any brand of toilet paper. So maybe this isn't the best example anymore now here in 2020 and the toilet paper hoarding. But anyway, when any company, car dealership, what have you, Lululemon wants to bring somebody in to spend $130 on leggings, it takes 7 to 12 points of contact for a person to make a purchase, like 80% of the time. There's always the outliers who are like ready to go. As soon as they hear a thing, they're like, yes, I want that, right? And we love those people. And we love to make the connection with those people who we can share with. But for the most of us, we see so many screens and so many advertisements, so many billboards, so many things all the time that it truly takes 7 to 12 points of contact for somebody to go, oh, this to this to this, and make that connection. And it's just because of the world that we live in these days and the way our human brain is designed. So when someone ghosts you or doesn't get back to you, or you don't think they're reading your message, or just it takes 7 to 12. And not all of those are Plexus points, right? Some of those are just loving on them and seeing how they're doing, right? Because again, that's just depositing into that relationship bank account that we care, because we truly do care. So, all right, there are really, I like to say there's 4 different types of messages that we send out to people. But in Plexus, with our messaging system, the send, share, invite system, when you're looking at scripts, or when you're thinking about what is my next step with this person, there's really 3 different phases and types of messages. So that 4th type is the one I'm going to talk about real quick, because we were just talking about it a little bit. And that's just a personalized, like, being a good human message. That's what I call it. And it's not any shade or shame that you're a bad human at this point. It's just building that relationship. And so anytime you have a list, and I always suggest having a list. We'll talk about that later, or probably at another time. You've already heard me ask about it outside of this call. You're looking at your list, and this is prime example. I had a girl on my list who I was ready to reach out to her. I had talked to her a few times. We built that relationship. I felt like we had a good rapport, and I was like, I would love to do business with her. So I'm like, I'm ready to reach out and introduce Plexus. And so the first thing I do is always check their page, because you never know what is going on in someone's world. And that's the best chance for you to figure it out, is whatever they share. And she had just shared that her grandma died. And I was like, oh, thank God I checked her page, because I would have felt like a buffoon if I had been like, hey, girl, and talk to her the way I usually do when she was literally in a phase of grief. And so I was able to send her a voice message and just love on her and pray for her and her family. And she sent me back a note that she was so appreciative of that and all of the things, right? And that just added to, it wasn't a lost point. It's not like, oh, shucks, well, I didn't get to reach out to her. Like, that is so amazing, that connection and that deposit into the relationship bank account. And so it's just watering the seeds for a later harvest. The day you plant the seed is not the day you harvest the fruit. So no connecting messages, especially one where you get a response back, even a little heart emoji on your message, like, that is a genuine connection with someone, and that is worth its weight in gold. So you see that someone has passed away, send a quick note. If it's their birthday, every day I do the happy birthdays, and I send them a private message rather than just posting them on their wall, because that's taking it one-on-one. If you're having a one-on-one conversation in the messenger, You are also more likely to show up in their newsfeed when you're posting. It engages the Facebook algorithm for you. So again, no wasted messages, even if it's not like, yay, they're ready to buy this and sign up and they want to do the business and it's awesome. There's no wasted communication and conversation. So, or if they have an adorable post, I live for wedding announcements, like engagement posts, people's having babies, all of these things. If you have a cute kid in front of like your Christmas tree right now, or you're making a gingerbread house, I'm probably sending you a message that was so stinking cute, because that leads you into a very natural conversation as to like, hey, I don't know if you've seen me posting about this gut health thing, but it's helped me in so many ways. And I would really love your perspective. And I love to share why I'd love their perspective, because you're a straight shooter. I know you're not going to BS me, right? I know you're going to give me the truth. I know that I know a lot of people who are in the healthcare industry. I say, you marry science with humans every day. And I would just love your opinion. May or may not be for you, right? It's not my job. It's not your job. It's not anybody's job to decide for someone else, or to make decisions, or to know everything perfectly at the beginning. All I want to know is, what do you think? Are you open to discussing this? Let me know. And that's the first step of the system, is sending a video. So we are just naturally reaching out and saying, hey, I don't know if you've seen me posting about this, but it's really helped me with X, Y, and Z. And I would love your perspective. Would you be willing to watch a 2-minute video? And I personally love including that may or may not be for you, because that gives them the out. So when they say no to me, or if they say no to me, some days I count the no's, it doesn't sting as bad, because I gave them the out. And I'm just offering coffee, and I'm just moving on to the next person. Not that it's like a conveyor belt line. We're doing it with care. But the waitress doesn't quit her job when they don't want dessert and coffee. And so we don't take it personally either, because we know what we have to offer is incredible for people when they are ready for that solution. So if they're open to watching a video, awesome. There are so many video options. I love the Engage app, because you can send it right from there. You can see that they've clicked on the link. I have a girl right now. She's like, oh yeah, the link worked great. I love the video. She has not clicked the link. I know she didn't, because I didn't get a notification. So using that app is super powerful to be able to really get an insight as to how to best progress with your messaging. So once they've watched the video though, we're going to take them on the good note, right? They've watched the video. They're like, oh my gosh, I watched that. It was a great video. What is this? Like, tell me more, right? Sometimes we have to ask them, hey, did you watch that video? Oh my gosh, no, I didn't. It's 2 minutes. Watch it now. Don't be afraid to say those things, because everybody has 2 minutes when they take a pee. Okay? It's not that big a deal to ask, because if they've said yes, they've already opened the door. So we're not being rude or annoying. If somebody doesn't want something, they will tell you. They will be like, no, that's not for me. Thank you. But if they say, oh, it's not a good time, that's not a no. If they say, talk to me after the holidays, that's not a no. I politely ignore these things and continue with the send, share, invite system, because we are planting seeds so that when they're ready in January, we don't have to start from square one again. We can just keep it moving. They are ready to go. We're ready to go. It's all fabulous. Success loves speed. And the more time that we give folks between points of conversation, or, offering information, again, it's not top of mind for them. So it might go away. So we send them a video. The next step is sharing a health testimony, sharing a story that more specifically connects to what they may be struggling with, the hope that they are looking to find, right? And how do we figure that out? We talk to them about what resonated with them in the video. And again, that's just being, I hate to keep saying a good human, but I mean, it's just caring for others. when somebody says they love the video, or, oh yeah, I watched the video, one of my go-to responses is, I love that video because it reminds me of how far I've come. And maybe if you're just getting started, it reminds me of how hopeful I am for the future, right? What stood out to you? What are you struggling with? What are your goals for 2021? You can never go wrong with just asking a question. So by asking questions, we figure out more what they are interested in. And then we can find a health testimony that, again, better represents and connects to what their experience is. Because myself personally, I'm not a mom. And so when I'm talking to tired moms who are stressed out to the nth degree, for me to say, oh, I know how you feel. I had a single mom too for a lot of, like, yeah, it's good, but it's so much more powerful if it comes from someone else, especially a mom. Like it just is. I just heard my husband come home. So you might hear my dog bark. But you can go to Facebook. Just Facebook in and of itself. There's a search bar. Plexus and tired mom. Plexus energy. Plexus weight loss. Like triplex, anti-inflammatory, whatever combination of things that they may be struggling with. Today I had to look up fatty liver disease. And I was like, I bet you it will help with that. Okay. There are so many people in our community who beautifully share their stories so that we can continue to provide that hope for folks. So we find a story. I love to screenshot it because a lot of times they're long and like to throw all those words at people and they have to scroll through. For me personally, I will, too long, didn't read, right? But if you send me 2 screenshots, I'll pop open the pictures, and more than one way to skin a cat. That one I learned is a trick. So send them a testimony. What did you think? And how do you tee up sending a testimony? Oh my gosh, you remind me so much of a story I just read, even if you didn't read it. Even if you didn't just read it, it's okay. You can say that because confidence doesn't come from our current skills and abilities. It comes from our ability to figure things out. And we know that those resources are there. That reminds me so much of a story. Somebody in our community, would you be open to checking it out if I shared it with you? 9 times out of 10, they will say, yes, boom, boom, send it over. What do you think? How amazing is that? Right? It's so much hope. That's what we're doing is we're not convincing people that they need to buy gut health supplements. We are showing them hope for the problems in their lives. I'm going to get choked up because like, I didn't think I needed gut health. I signed on to help my husband who needed to lose some weight. Okay. Changed everything. And here I am 3 years later. So we are providing them hope. So we go from sharing a story. Oh my gosh, yes, that is amazing. I need this. That, yes, yes, yes. Then we come to invite. And that's where the most nuance comes in. And I don't want you to be like, oh my God, I have to invite them now. I want you to get freaked out because where this is the most nuance, you also have the most opportunities. The possibilities for inviting to things are endless. I'm 3 years in and I still invite people to things all of the time because you never know what it's going to be that speaks to them at what moment. So again, we're just offering coffee and dessert. You down for it? You want to hang out? You want to, yes, no? Okay. Keeping it moving. 7.6 billion people in this world. I can't have coffee and dessert with all of them. So it's fine. Doesn't mean anything. We are inviting them to, the first thing we're inviting them to is to try a welcome pack. We are making a product recommendation. Isn't that story amazing? I think this welcome pack would be perfect for you. It checks all the boxes of what we've been discussing. Good news, it's on sale right now. Here are the details. What do you think? Never let me know. Never you want me to send a link. What do you think? How does that sound? Keep them talking. They will give you an objection. That's okay. They'll usually say, oh, I don't have the money for that right now. Okay, no problem. We actually have a great program to get your products paid for. If I could get you $89 on cash back on a $99 purchase, like if I could help you with that, is that something you would be interested in? I don't want a business. Oh, that's fine. A business like 50 people. When I started, I didn't want a business either. I don't want you to have a business. You sound very busy. Referring to friends is not a business. loving people in your life and wanting them to be healthy too. Who do you know? Your husband, your mom? Even if they object, that is no problem. I'm like a dog with a bone, okay? Because I have survived 100% of my days so far. So have you. So ain't nothing going to stop you, right? There's no lion that's going to come out and kill you. It's okay. And if it's not their time right now, then you've done the right thing in offering that to them. So we make a product recommendation. And if they say no to that, we follow up with the business because we do have amazing other options. They're like, no, I'm not down, doesn't really seem like the right time. Okay, let me plug you into an event, right? We have a great little group, tons of information, super low key, casual, no pressure at all. Let me plug you in. Get them into that. We have the Black Friday group right now. That's just an information group. Get them plugged in there because then you can share with them another story. Or then they're going to see a post from someone else and they're going to go, oh, yeah, I was thinking about that. You never know when the time is. So if we can get them plugged into something else, then they're going to continue those 7 to 12 points of contact without it always having to be you. And so here's the last thing that I offer as an invitation, and that's a sample. And this comes from personal experience and also just a tremendous amount of R&D from the company. I mean, this is 50,000 foot view down to my personal experience as to why the sample is the last thing. First of all, samples cost money. Even if you have some sample credits in your account, eventually you'll need to replenish them. Those are a few dollars, not a monumental exponential investment in your business. Absolutely, we are investing in our business. That's a call for another day. But samples do cost something at some point in time, and they also delay things. And then people have it on their counter and then they forget about it. And then it's not the right time. And then, oh yeah, I took it, but I don't really remember how I feel. And oh, I forgot to tell you I took it. And it just, not to say that samples are impossible. They're fantastic, but they're going to extend the timeline in the conversation. So they are my last resort. And I do offer them strictly as a taste test. So anyway, we'll do a whole thing on samples. So we're inviting them to try the products for themselves because we have, get started for 30 days rather than a 2-day sample, right? We're making that recommendation to them. We're showing them the value. And then they don't want that. We're getting them into an event. No problem. You can learn more over here. And that event is going to continuously drip on them. Then, oh, I was thinking of you. Hey, what would it take what would you think about a taste test, right? 2 sticks, drop me your address, and I'll drop them in the mail. The bottom line with messaging is that if you just take a step back, and this is the hardest part for me, just take a step back, take a breath and go, okay, what is the one bit of information I can share next, right? Because I don't know about you, but when I personally receive something that I got to scroll through, or it's like I'm getting 6 bits of information at once, and I love information. It's too much and it's overwhelming. So if we can keep it like a little hug in their inbox, kind of as organically as possible, as compared to what you would say in real life, looking at someone, that's what we're looking for in a message. But there are tons of scripts, tons of examples all around. And the number one tip that I can have for you when it comes to messaging, besides personalize it and don't give up, so maybe it's like top 3 tip, is have a list. I know it sounds ridiculous. I know it may sound salesy and you're like, oh, I don't want to carry around a list of people. Keep it in the notes of your phone, a notepad if that's your way of being. I'm a pen and paper kind of gal. But if you know who you want to reach out to, who you want to love on, who you want to continue to develop that relationship with, and who you want to eventually introduce Plexus to, all of it becomes easier because you're not thinking first, who do I need to talk to? You already have a list. So do yourself the service, the thing that your future self will thank you for. Make a list the beginning of the week or the beginning of the month. And that way, when you sit down to think about a personalized approach and you go to check their page, you're not starting, you already know where you're going, right? You've already decided, we're going to LA. This is the road we're going to take to get there. That's basically what I have on messaging. I could probably talk for another 30 minutes on it, but I'm getting a little bit dry mouth and I feel like it's a lot of words from me. So after 3 years, I have been on messaging calls every single month. So this is a continuous conversation. This is not a one and done, you get it. And I'm not using any of the same type of messages I used in the beginning. I'm not using any of the same type of messages I used 6 months ago. The foundation is there of like, am I trying to send them a video? Am I trying to send a testimony? Am I trying to invite them to something? But those conversations are going to evolve. There we go. Evolve over time. So I'm going to take a water break and I want to hear any questions, thoughts, places you get stuck, anything at all. The floor is for y'all. Bueller. It's crickets. Tabitha looks so comfy. Bueller. Anybody have questions? If not, I'm going to wrap up the recording. Y'all going to get back to your dinner and husbands and everything wicked early tonight. Going once, going twice. Perfect. All right. Well done. I'm going to consider this a win. And going back, any questions as you're watching the recording, by all means, holla at your girl. I'm the queen of questions. But I want to thank you all for dialing in tonight. And I just want to say that when it comes to messaging, you cannot say the wrong thing to the right person. Okay? You can't. And those who mind don't matter. And those who matter don't mind. So happy messaging, y'all. Happy messaging indeed.